A replacement Subaru CVT costs $8,400 installed. The 6 habits that kill it cost you nothing to stop. Most owners are doing at least 2 of them every single day. And number 6 is the one even some dealers get wrong. Subaru has put the Lineartronic CVT in almost every car it's built since 2010. Outback, Forester, Crosstrek, Impreza, Legacy, Ascent. If you drive a Subaru with an automatic, you're almost certainly driving a CVT. And here's the part nobody tells you at the dealership. This transmission can absolutely go 250,000 miles. There are owners in the comments of this channel with original CVTs at 294,000 miles. But the same unit, treated wrong, can die before 90,000. And the difference isn't luck. It's 6 specific habits. Quick mechanical picture because you need it to understand everything that follows. Inside your Lineartronic, there are no fixed gears. There's a steel chain running between 2 cone-shaped pulleys, and hydraulic pressure squeezes those pulleys together to clamp the chain in place. Clamping pressure is everything. Anytime the chain slips against the pulley faces, even for a fraction of a second, it shaves microscopic metal into the fluid, and that metal ends up in the valve body that controls the whole system. So every mistake on this list comes down to one of 2 things: making the chain slip or cooking the fluid that protects it. We're going from the mistake you probably made this week to the one that quietly kills more Subaru CVTs than all the others combined. Number 6 is the big one. It's the reason Subaru ended up extending CVT warranties on over 1 million cars. So stay with me, because fixing it costs about $150, and it's the closest thing to transmission insurance you can buy. Let's start with the one you've probably done in a parking lot this month. You're backing out of a space, you're in a hurry, and you pull the lever from reverse into drive while the car is still creeping backward. The car lurches, catches, and drives off. No warning light, no noise. Seems fine. It is not fine. When you shift into drive while rolling backward, the forward clutch pack has to absorb the entire momentum of a 3,700-pound car moving the wrong direction. And behind that clutch, the chain takes a shock load it was never designed for. In a conventional automatic with fixed gears, this is bad. In a CVT, where the only thing transmitting your engine's torque is friction between a chain and 2 polished steel cones, it's how you start the slow process of glazing the pulley faces. Once those surfaces glaze, slip becomes permanent, and slip is the beginning of the end. The rule is simple. Come to a complete stop before every direction change. Full stop. 1 beat. Reverse to drive. Drive to reverse. That 1-second pause costs you nothing. And if you live anywhere with real winter, this matters double. The classic technique for rocking a stuck car out of snow, slamming drive, reverse in rhythm, is a CVT execution. Every one of those rapid swaps is a shock load on the chain, while the wheels have no traction to resist it. If you're stuck in snow with a CVT Subaru, here's the right way. Turn off traction control with the button. Your Subaru lets you do this exactly for this situation. Use gentle, steady throttle in drive. Let the car roll back on its own, and time your next gentle pull forward with that natural rebound. You rock the car with momentum, not with the shifter. If 3 or 4 cycles don't free you, stop and grab a shovel, because what you'd save in shoveling, you'll spend on a transmission. One more version of this same mistake. Shifting into park before the car has fully stopped. The parking pawl is a small steel finger that drops into a slot. Let it take the car's weight while rolling, and you're gambling with the one part that holds your Subaru on a hill. Stop, then park. Every time. Next mistake, the hard launch. Left foot on the brake, right foot building revs, drop the brake and go. Or its everyday cousin, flooring it off every stoplight because the CVT's instant response makes it feel effortless. Here's what's happening inside when you do that. At a standstill, your torque converter multiplies engine torque. That's its job. And all of that multiplied torque arrives at the chain at the exact moment clamping pressure is transitioning from idle to full. That launch moment is the single highest stress event your CVT ever experiences. Subaru knows it. It's why the WRX got the reinforced TR690 high torque unit instead of the standard TR580. That's in your Forester or Crosstrek. The standard unit handles the engine it's paired with. At normal loads, it was never sized for repeated drag strip starts. Brake torquing, holding the brake while loading the throttle, is even worse because you're stalling the converter and turning your launch into a heat event before the car even moves. CVT fluid degrades with heat. Every brake torque launch ages it. And before someone says it in the comments, no, this doesn't mean your Subaru can't be driven hard. Once you're rolling, the chain is clamped, pressures are up, and the system is in its happy zone. Highway pulls, mountain roads, overtakes, all fine. The danger zone is specifically torque spikes from a standstill. So roll into the throttle for the first car length, then push as hard as you like. You lose maybe 0.2 of a second. Your chain gains tens of thousands of miles. There's a pattern forming here, and it'll carry through this whole list. The CVT is happiest under smooth progressive load and most vulnerable to sudden transitions. Keep that one sentence in your head, and you can derive half of this video yourself. But the next mistake is one almost nobody connects to the transmission at all because it feels like an engine question. Cold mornings. You start the car, and within 30 seconds, you're on the throttle merging onto a main road. Most owners think about cold starts as an engine oil problem. Your transmission is colder than your engine, and it warms up slower. CVT fluid at 20 degrees Fahrenheit is dramatically thicker than at operating temperature. Thick fluid means the hydraulic system that clamps your pulleys is working with sluggish, high-resistance oil, and the precise pressure control the computer expects just isn't there yet. Subaru's own transmission computer knows this. It runs different shift logic when cold, and you can feel it. The slightly hesitant, slightly drony behavior in the first few minutes of a winter drive. That's the transmission protecting itself. Full throttle during that window asks the chain for maximum clamping force exactly when the system can't deliver it. Maximum torque plus minimum clamp equals slip, and you already know what slip means. The fix doesn't require idling in the driveway for 10 minutes. That actually warms the CVT almost not at all because at idle and park, barely any fluid is being worked. The fix is the first 5 minutes of driving. Start the car, give it 30 seconds, long enough to put on your seatbelt and set the mirrors. Then drive off gently and keep it under roughly half throttle until the temperature gauge starts moving. In a Subaru, that's typically the first 2 or 3 miles. If you remote start your car in winter and think that solves it, it helps the engine, not the transmission. The CVT only warms when fluid actually moves under load, which means warm-up happens on the road, gently, not in the driveway. That's 3 mistakes, and all 3 were about how you drive. The next one is the opposite. It's about something owners do specifically because they think it's good for the car. It isn't. It's the most confidently wrong habit in this entire list. Somebody taught a whole generation of drivers that coasting in neutral saves fuel and saves wear. In a CVT Subaru, both halves of that are false, and one of them is actively destructive. First, the fuel myth. Let's kill it with numbers. Every fuel-injected Subaru cuts fuel completely when you coast downhill and drive with your foot off the throttle. Zero fuel. The wheels keep the engine spinning. Injectors shut off. The moment you shift to neutral, the engine must burn fuel to keep itself idling. Neutral coasting doesn't save fuel, it spends it. Now the part that costs transmissions. Your CVT's oil pump is driven by the engine. In neutral at idle, pump output drops to its minimum, but your wheels are still spinning the secondary pulley at road speed. You've created the exact condition the system is designed to avoid. Components turning at highway speed on minimum pressure and minimum lubrication flow. The Lineartronic's entire pressure strategy assumes drive when the car is moving. Long neutral descents run the chain in a regime Subaru never calibrated for. And there's a third cost. In neutral, you have no engine braking and no ability to accelerate out of a situation. That's why coasting in neutral is actually illegal in a number of US states. The same logic applies to a related myth. Never tow a CVT Subaru with the drive wheels on the ground, not even just a few miles. Wheels turning, engine off, pump dead. That's the neutral problem with zero pressure instead of low pressure. Flatbed only. Downhill in a CVT Subaru, the right move is staying in drive and using the manual mode or paddle shifters to hold a lower ratio. The engine brakes for you, the brakes stay cool, the pump stays happy, and you burn nothing. Speaking of heat and long grades, the next mistake is what happens when you ask your CVT to work hard and never check whether it's coping. Here's an uncomfortable fact about your Subaru. It has no transmission temperature gauge. Engine temp, yes. CVT temp, the single most important number for the component most expensive to replace. You get nothing until the AT oil temp warning light is already flashing, and most owners have never even noticed that light exists. Heat is the #1 chemical killer of CVT fluid. The fluid is not just a lubricant, it's a friction medium with carefully engineered additives that let the chain grip the pulleys. Cook those additives, and the fluid loses its grip properties even though it still looks fine on a dipstick. Sustained heat above roughly 220 degrees starts the clock. Every 20 degrees beyond that roughly halves the fluid's life. So where does that heat come from? 3 places. Towing at or near your limit. A Crosstrek is rated for 1,500 pounds. Most Outbacks 2,700 to 3,500, and those numbers assume flat ground in mild weather, not a camper up a mountain pass in July. Heavy loading, 5 passengers, a packed cargo area, a roof box, which together can add 600 or 700 pounds before you've hitched anything. And sustained low-speed, high-load crawling, stop and go in summer heat, sand, steep dirt roads, where the converter works hard and airflow through the cooler is minimal. The rules: know your tow rating and treat it as a hot weather maximum, not a target. On long climbs with a load, use manual mode to hold a ratio instead of letting the CVT hunt. And if AT oil temp ever flashes, that is not a check it next week light. Pull over safely, leave the engine idling in park so fluid keeps circulating through the cooler, and give it 10 to 15 minutes. Shutting the engine off immediately actually traps the heat. If you tow regularly, ask your shop about an auxiliary CVT cooler. A few $100s that pays for itself the first summer. But even the best managed fluid only protects you if the fluid itself is still alive. Which brings us to the biggest mistake of all, the one Subaru's own paperwork talked a million owners into. Open your Subaru maintenance schedule and look for the CVT fluid change interval. For most model years, you won't find one. The official US schedule calls the fluid lifetime. Inspect, don't replace. And that single word has killed more Subaru CVTs than every other mistake in this video combined. Here's the question to ask: whose lifetime? Because the fluid coming out of a CVT at 100,000 miles is dark, sheared, full of the microscopic metal we've been talking about for 18 minutes, and the chain is running in it every mile. Lifetime fluid means the fluid lasts until the transmission dies. It's circular, and Subaru's own history tells you they know it. After a class action settlement, Subaru extended the CVT warranty to 10 years or 100,000 miles on roughly 1.5 million 2010 to 2018 vehicles. You don't extend warranties on 1.5 million transmissions if the original plan was working. So here's what experienced owners and independent Subaru techs actually do. And it matches what the highest mileage owners in this channel's comments report. First, CVT fluid service around 60,000 miles, then every 30,000 after that. Drain and fill, not a flush. Cost, roughly $150 to $300 a service. But, and this is where even good intentions kill transmissions, 2 conditions are non-negotiable. 1. Subaru high torque CVT fluid only, not universal CVT fluid, not the multi-vehicle jug at the quick lube counter. The friction characteristics are specific to the Lineartronic. The wrong fluid can make the chain slip within thousands of miles. 2. No power flush machines ever. High pressure flushing stirs up and relocates exactly the debris you're trying to remove, and on a high mileage unit, it can finish the transmission in a week. A proper drain and fill with the level set at the correct fluid temperature, that's the whole procedure, and any Subaru literate shop knows it. If your CVT already has 120,000 miles on the original fluid, change it anyway. Drain and fill, correct fluid. The never change old fluid folklore comes from flush horror stories, not from drains. Fresh fluid has never killed a healthy transmission. Heat, slip, and metal do. Let's stack them up. Full stop before every direction change. No launches from a standstill. Roll into it. Gentle for the first 5 minutes when cold. Drive, not neutral, downhill, and never tow it on its wheels. respect heat, know your tow rating, know the AT oil temp light, and change the fluid. 60,000, then every 30,000 Subaru fluid, drain and fill, no flush. Notice that not one of these costs real money. The most expensive thing on this list is a fluid service that's cheaper than 1 month of a new car payment. Against an $8,400 transmission, the Lineartronic isn't a bad transmission, it's an unforgiving one. Treat it with the smoothness it was designed around, and it will outlast the rest of the car. Now I want the number that proves it either way. Drop your model year, your mileage, and whether you're on original fluid in the comments. The high mileage CVT reports on this channel are the best real-world dataset we have, and your car might be the one that settles an argument. And if you want the full picture of what it takes to get any Subaru, engine included, past 300,000 miles, the next video on your screen breaks down the 12 maintenance mistakes that decide it. That's where your CVT's new habits fit into the bigger plan.